Stop me if you've heard this before. The Buffalo Bills have signed a former Carolina Panther. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to this free agency edition of Believers Talk, where we take a look at every single 2020 Buffalo Bills free agent, and we ask ourselves, was this a smart move by the Buffalo Bills? What are the contract details, and what does this mean for the Buffalo Bills moving forward? Not just talking about in free agency, but also as the NFL draft gets closer and closer. Again, guys, thank you for joining me. My name is Joe. If you're new to this channel, guys, you want to be sure to hit that subscribe button for all your Buffalo Bills news. After you hit that subscribe button, you want to hit that notification bell. YouTube will notify you when we put out new content. And while you're here, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like this video, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the Buffalo Bills signing, yes, another former Carolina Panther in offensive lineman Daryl Williams. Now, before we start getting into Daryl Williams and what this means for the Bills and his measurables, I do want to take a minute and let you guys know that if at the beginning of free agency you would have given me a list of all the potential Carolina Panthers unrestricted free agents that were available, and you said you could only pick one, Daryl Williams might have been towards the top of that list for me as far as the Buffalo Bills needing a guy who could fill in on the offensive line. We've talked on this channel before about how I know the offensive line improved between 2018 and 2019, but I still wanted to see more improvement there. And if you were with us on the live stream yesterday, Mario, myself, and Dan Mitchell, we talked a little about the offensive line, and I still talked about how I want to see some improvement on the offensive line, and this does just that. This really helps out. I'm very interested to see what this contract holds. I mean, I'm not expecting a lot, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But first of all, we'll talk about Daryl Williams and his measurables. So Daryl Williams, like I said, is an offensive lineman. He's actually played both guard and tackle, so we'll talk about his versatility here in a little bit. But 6'6", 335 pounds, pretty big guy. You like those big guys playing on the offensive line, getting a little nasty in there and pushing the line back a little bit. Will be 28 years old by the start of the 2020 NFL season. Played his college football in Oklahoma, was an Oklahoma Sooner, and then he was drafted in 2015. In 2015, he was drafted in the 4th round of the NFL draft by the Carolina Panthers. In 2015, his rookie season, and if you remember right, that's the season the Carolina Panthers went 15-1 and found themselves in the Super Bowl playing against Peyton Manning, losing to the Denver Broncos. But in that season, Daryl Williams played in 10 of those games, starting 2 of those games at right tackle, and he also played in all 3 playoff games for the Carolina Panthers, because he played in, they obviously had a bye week, so they didn't play wild card weekend, but he played in the divisional round, the championship round, and then he played in the Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos as well. 2016, he then starts 10 games at right tackle. So you might be saying, whoa, Joe, I thought you said he was versatile. Right tackle is all I'm hearing right now, and we'll get into it. We will get into that. Played 10 games at right tackle. He did miss 3 games due to an ankle sprain, and we've seen some injuries pop up from time to time in his short career, and we'll also talk about that here in just a second. 2017, that's when things really started to take off for Daryl Williams. That's when he played all 16 games, started all 16 games as well at right tackle for the Carolina Panthers. Actually was named as the NFL second team All-Pro team, so very good job by him. Congratulations on that feat. And again, it looks like his career, his trajectory is moving up. It looks like he's ready for a big payday. Unfortunately, in 2018, during training camp, he suffers a torn MCL, and he dislocates his kneecap. But if you want to talk about a guy's toughness, if you want to talk about a guy's grit, if you want to talk about a guy that won't give up, that's the type of guy you have here, and he proved it in 2018. In 2018, he dislocates his kneecap. He tears his MCL in June. By September, he's looking to play week 1 of the NFL season. So he plays week 1. He's listed as the starter against the Dallas Cowboys, and unfortunately, he re-injures his knee, and that's when the Carolina Panthers shut him down for this season with that torn MCL. So then 2019 comes along, the Carolina Panthers sign him to a 1-year, $7 million contract. And here's where the versatility comes into play, guys. Played all 16 games for the Carolina Panthers, started 12 of those games. Okay, and you're thinking, oh, 12 games at right tackle. No, in fact, he only played, he actually didn't play a single game at right tackle. He started 4 of those games at left tackle, 3 of those games at right guard, 5 of those games at left guard. So in his 4-year career, we've seen him play right tackle. We've seen him play right guard. We've seen him play left tackle. We've seen him play left guard. There's not a position on that offensive line other than center that he has not played, and that talks to this guy's versatility and what it could mean for the Buffalo Bills moving forward. So the Buffalo Bills signed Daryl Williams to a 1-year contract. Again, contract details are not out yet, but if he signed last year for $7 million, played in all 16 games, and showed his versatility, you have to like his chances of getting a decent payday here, right? Talking about maybe $8 million a year, $9 million a year. For a guy that's this versatile, for a guy that can play in all 16 games, and he really helps you out when it comes to filling roster spots, right? This is the type of guy you could put on your 53, soon to be 55-man roster, and you know that he could plug in at any spot on the offensive line, so you might not need to bring over that extra offensive lineman. Now, if you watch the live stream that I was a part of yesterday, the collaboration between Hashtag Sports and Dan Mitchell from the Dom Mafia Report, you know that we talked about LeAdrian Waddle, right? LeAdrian Waddle was a guy that the Buffalo Bills signed at the beginning of the 2019 NFL season, and unfortunately suffers a season-ending injury before the season even begins, and we really don't get to see much of LeAdrian Waddle last season for the Buffalo Bills. But there was hope there, because as Mario brought yesterday, last year we could have gotten rid of him on an injury settlement. We didn't. The Buffalo Bills kept him, and a lot of Bills fans were thinking that's because we wanted to see what he could do this year. Now, I do believe this signing of Daryl Williams does kind of make it hard for us to sign LeAdrian Waddle. Not necessarily money-wise, but when you talk about skill sets, when you talk about fits for team, when you talk about team needs. Now, if you add a LeAdrian Waddle, that definitely bolsters your offensive line even more, especially your offensive line depth. But when you sign a guy like Daryl Williams, it kind of makes you think that that's the last move at offensive line that they're going to do during free agency. Now, that's just my opinion. Again, I like LeAdrian Waddle. If he comes into Buffalo, back to Buffalo as well, that just means that this bolsters the offensive line depth even more. And you can't go wrong there. You can never go wrong with getting depth at both your offensive and defensive lines. Remember, guys, the game's won and lost on the line of scrimmage. So the last thing you want is for a couple injuries. You never want a couple injuries to happen, but for you to lose a player or two on the offensive line, all of a sudden you don't have anyone to fill that spot, you're in trouble the rest of the year or until that other player comes back. So that's the last thing you want. So let's talk about what Daryl Williams means for the Buffalo Bills. Like I said, I think that this puts us out of the conversation for LeAdrian Waddle. I think that right now the Buffalo Bills might look in the draft later, 4th, 5th round, to look at offensive linemen. But when you talk about some of the offensive linemen that were already brought in during free agency, and now you talk about Daryl Williams, who again is really a Swiss Army knife when it comes to playing the offensive line, you really get a good piece here. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, if you had shown me the list of unrestricted free agents on the Carolina Panthers, this is one of the guys that I would have pointed to and said, this is the guy I want for the Buffalo Bills. Now, little did I know that 3/4 of that list would soon be Buffalo Bills players, right? You might as well just put an express lane between Carolina and Buffalo, because that's where it seems like a lot of these players are going. But listen, when it comes to continuity of a team, familiarity with a system. Now, we know that obviously Daryl Williams played offense and not defense, but Coach McDermott saw what he did on offense in 2015 and 2016 before he came to the Buffalo Bills, and he knows what he could offer to a team. And that's what I'm hoping that we see here with Daryl Williams. I hope that he brings some versatility to this team, improves this offensive line, gets us in the top 15 in offensive line. When you look at these offensive weapons that we've signed this season or that we signed last season, Diggs, especially the one that we had this year with Brown, Beasley, Singletary, Knox, so many weapons. If you give Josh Allen a little bit of time, he's going to kill you every single time. So I like this move. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you like this move, or would you have rather had LeAdrian Waddle? I like LeAdrian Waddle, and I'm not saying that we can't re-sign Adrian Waddle, but this deal means that it's going to be a smaller deal, if anything. Again, with him signing a $7 million deal last year, or $7 million deal last year for 1 year, him playing in all 16 games, him showing off his versatility, starting 12 of those games, he might be asking for an $8-9 million per year contract now. Gives the Buffalo Bills less money to spend on other offensive linemen, including Adrian Waddle. So we'll see what happens. But again, I really like this move for Daryl Williams. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And again, guys, if you're not subscribed to Believers Talk, be sure to hit that subscribe button for continuing Buffalo Bills news. Keep you up to date on free agency. Remember, this isn't the only free agent the Buffalo Bills signed today, so be sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, hit that notification bell. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.